Have you ever stopped to think what your phone really is to you? Not just a device in your hand, not just a tool for work or entertainment, but a mirror of your private world. Inside it lives your deepest conversations, the pictures that capture your happiest memories, the messages you never want anyone else to read, the secrets you sometimes can't even say out loud. It is the diary you never wrote on paper, the archive of your hopes, fears, and relationships. And because of that, your phone isn't just technology. It is trust, safety, and identity wrapped into one small screen. Now imagine for a moment what it would feel like if that trust was broken, if someone somewhere was silently inside your phone, reading your messages before you do, listening to your calls as if they belonged to them, watching without your permission. It wouldn't just be a violation of privacy, it would be a violation of your peace. And the cruel part is, you may not even know it's happening. The thought alone can bring unease, a small knot of fear in your stomach. Because when someone takes control of your phone, they don't just steal information, they steal security. And security is the foundation of every relationship, whether with others or with yourself. This is why knowing how to protect your phone is more than a technical detail. It is an act of self-respect. It is about standing up for the sacred space where your life unfolds, where your words live, where your connections breathe. Many people think hacking is rare, something that happens only to celebrities or businesses. But psychology shows us we tend to underestimate risks we can't see. We lock our doors at night, we keep our wallets close, yet we carry a device holding our entire life story, often unprotected, often unaware. And that's exactly what makes everyday people the perfect targets. Hackers don't just want money, they want control. They know the fear of being watched is powerful. They know doubt can destroy trust in relationships. And that is why your awareness is your greatest defense. So why should you keep listening right now? Because I want to show you something simple yet life-changing. There are two small codes you can dial on your phone that instantly reveal if someone is trying to spy on you. Two codes that can give you clarity, relief, and peace of mind. They're not complicated. You don't need to be an expert. In less than a minute, you can lift the shadow of doubt. Imagine the emotional reward of dialing a number, seeing the truth, and finally breathing easier. The fear of the unknown melts away the moment you see proof. That is the gift I want you to walk away with today. But here is what matters most. This is not only about protecting your phone. It is about protecting your mental freedom. Because when you know you are safe, you think clearer, you love deeper, you trust without hesitation. Anxiety fades, confidence grows, and relationships feel stronger. And that all begins with one choice. The choice to face what you fear and take control. Stay with me until the end, because the knowledge you are about to gain is more than information. It is power. Power that turns fear into peace. Power that protects your relationships from invisible manipulation. Power that reminds you, you are not helpless. You are not defenseless. You are in control. And when you are in control, your world feels lighter, calmer, and safer. This is not about paranoia. This is about courage. The courage to protect what matters most. Your privacy, your peace, and the trust that holds your relationships together. Hackers don't break into your phone by accident. They choose people for reasons rooted in psychology. They understand that most of us live with a blind spot. We guard what we can see, but we neglect what we cannot. We double-check the locks on our doors, we look over our shoulders in a dark street, but when it comes to digital threats, we often dismiss them. Our brain tells us, it's invisible, so it's unlikely. And that belief is exactly what hackers rely on. They thrive in the shadows created by human denial. This isn't just about stolen data. It's about how control over your phone can become control over your emotions, your relationships, and even your sense of self. Imagine someone having access to your personal conversations. Not just the words, but the tone of your voice, the context of your heart, the subtle emotions you reveal only in private. Those details can be twisted, misused, or even weaponized against you. In psychology, there's a concept called emotional leverage. It's when someone uses your vulnerabilities as a tool of power. A hacker with access to your phone can create doubt between you and the people you love most, sowing suspicion where trust once lived. They don't even need to act openly. The simple knowledge that someone might be watching is enough to erode confidence. Studies show that uncertainty is one of the strongest triggers of stress. Not pain, not conflict, but uncertainty. When you don't know who has access to your world, you live in a constant state of alert, even if you can't put it into words. It shows up in your mood, in your sleep, in how easily you get irritated. And often, it spills over into your closest relationships. You start questioning the wrong person, your partner, your friend, even yourself, when the real intrusion is coming from an invisible outsider. That's how hacking moves beyond technology into the territory of emotional damage. It doesn't just take your data, it steals your peace. This is why awareness is not optional. Awareness is protection. When you understand that hackers are not interested only in celebrities or businesses, but in anyone who can be exploited, you begin to shift from denial to action. Think of how we approach relationships. Trust is not built on the hope that nothing will go wrong. Trust is built on awareness, honesty, and consistent action. It is the same with your phone. Hoping you won't be hacked is not a strategy. Knowing how to check, how to guard, how to recognize the signs, that is a strategy. You may feel a mix of fear and resistance right now, but lean into it. That discomfort you feel is your mind's way of telling you this matters. Fear is a signal to pay attention. And when you pay attention, fear loses its power. By learning to check your phone for hidden forwarding or redirection, you reclaim the same sense of safety you feel when you lock your front door at night. It's not paranoia, it's wisdom. It's the simple truth that your privacy is sacred, and sacred things must be protected. Staying engaged with this message gives you more than technical instructions. It gives you clarity, clarity that restores peace, clarity that strengthens the trust between you and the people closest to you, clarity that reminds you no one has the right to watch you without your consent. And when you take control of your device, you send a powerful signal to your own heart. You are worth protecting, your boundaries matter, and your trust is not a toy to be played with. This is about drawing a line between fear and courage, a line between doubt and clarity, a line that tells the world, my safety, my privacy, my peace are not negotiable. That strength doesn't only guard your phone, it empowers every part of your life. When you know how to protect what is unseen, you become stronger in every relationship because you no longer live in denial. You live in awareness, and awareness is freedom. There is a simple step you can take right now that can reveal the truth about your phone, and it begins with a code. Dialing *#21 number sign may seem like an ordinary action, but what it gives you is extraordinary. Clarity. This code uncovers whether your calls, texts, or data are being secretly forwarded to another number. That may sound technical, but think about what it really means. If someone has set up call forwarding without your knowledge, every private word you speak could be diverted elsewhere. Every conversation with a loved one, every vulnerable confession, every sensitive detail of your life could be landing in the hands of a stranger. That is not just a technical threat. That is a direct invasion of intimacy. When you press those numbers and see the result on your screen, you are doing more than checking a setting. You are reclaiming authority over your life. Human beings crave certainty, and psychology proves that uncertainty is what drives fear more than almost anything else. By dialing this code, you lift the fog of doubt. If you see no forwarding is active, you breathe differently. Your body relaxes. Your mind quiets down. The weight you may not have realized you were carrying begins to lighten. That moment of relief is more than information. It is emotional freedom. And freedom is priceless. Now, imagine the alternative. Imagine discovering that your calls are being redirected. At first, you may feel fear. But that fear is not the end of the story. It is the beginning of empowerment. Because knowing is always better than guessing. Knowledge transforms you from a passive target into an active protector. If the code reveals something suspicious, you can take action, and action is the antidote to anxiety. Resetting your settings, contacting your carrier, changing your passwords. All of these steps become possible only because you first chose to see the truth. Awareness precedes strength. Without awareness, fear multiplies. With awareness, courage grows. Think about how this applies to your relationships. When there is silence, when there are unspoken doubts, the mind creates stories. You begin to suspect things that may not even be real, and those suspicions can poison trust. But when clarity enters, trust strengthens. You see reality for what it is, not for what your fears imagine it to be. Dialing star hash 21 number sign is not only a technical check, it is a practice in clarity. It teaches your brain that it is better to confront the truth than to live with unanswered questions. That same principle, applied to love, to friendship, to your own inner dialogue, changes everything. So when you hold your phone and type in this simple code, recognize the deeper meaning of what you are doing. You are telling yourself, I value my privacy, I value my safety, I value the trust that flows through my relationships, and I refuse to let unseen hands tamper with it. The act is small, but the message is enormous, because every time you choose clarity over avoidance, you strengthen your confidence. You remind yourself that your world is worth defending. Do not underestimate the emotional impact of this action. Fear thrives in the unknown. Peace thrives in awareness. By using this code, you are making a statement to your own nervous system. You are safe, you are aware, you are in charge. That shift does not end when you put the phone down. It lingers. It spills over into how you carry yourself, how you connect with others, how you trust yourself. And that is why a few numbers typed on your screen can change far more than your phone. They can change the way you feel in your own life. There is another code that holds just as much power, and it is asterisk number 62 hash. While the first code shows whether your calls and messages are being directly forwarded, this one reveals if they are being redirected when your phone is unreachable. At first glance, it may seem like a small detail, but think about what it truly represents. If someone has set up redirection, it means that whenever your phone is out of range, turned off, or busy, your private communication could still be slipping quietly into another person's hands. This kind of intrusion is silent, and it is often missed because everything looks normal on the surface. Yet beneath that surface, someone else could be listening, collecting, or monitoring your life without you realizing it. This is where psychology meets technology. The most dangerous threats are not the ones you can see clearly, but the ones that remain hidden, undetected, invisible. Just as in relationships, the cracks that destroy trust rarely start with loud betrayals. They begin with small, unseen actions, little secrets, quiet doubts, invisible redirections of loyalty and attention. That is why this code is so powerful. It shines a light into the places you cannot see. It exposes what has been hidden, and with exposure comes strength. When you dial this code, you are doing more than uncovering technical settings. You are practicing the art of facing hidden truths. You are telling yourself that you would rather know, even if the truth feels uncomfortable, than live in a false sense of security. This mindset is liberating, because uncertainty drains energy. It creates tension in your body, stress in your mind, and anxiety in your heart. But when you see clearly, even if you discover a problem, you also discover the power to solve it. Clarity changes everything. Think about how many conflicts in love and life spiral out of control simply because the truth stayed hidden for too long. Doubts turn into stories. Stories turn into arguments, and arguments turn into distance. But when the light of awareness comes in, misunderstandings shrink, fears dissolve, and trust has a chance to grow again. This is what dialing star number 62 number symbolizes: choosing the light over the shadow, truth over illusion, strength over avoidance. And the reward is profound. If the code shows you there is nothing being redirected, you can breathe with relief, knowing your privacy is intact. If it reveals suspicious redirection, the initial discomfort you feel will be replaced by empowerment, because now you know. You can take action. You can cut off the hidden channel and reclaim control. Either way, the outcome is clarity, and clarity is emotional safety. This act, as simple as pressing a few buttons, is a reflection of how you handle life. Do you ignore the things you cannot see, hoping they are not there? Or do you confront them directly and choose peace over denial? Every time you take the second path, you strengthen your self-trust. You prove to yourself that you are someone who faces reality instead of hiding from it. And that self-trust becomes the foundation of every relationship you build. Because when you trust yourself, others can trust you. Remember, safety is not just about the absence of danger. Safety is the presence of awareness. It is the knowing that you are not asleep to what is happening around you. By dialing this code, you anchor yourself in that awareness. You reclaim not just your device, but your peace of mind. You affirm that your privacy, your trust, your relationships, and your life are not open doors for anyone to walk through. They are sacred. They are yours. And you have the right, the wisdom, and the power to protect them. When people choose not to check, when they silence their curiosity and assume everything is fine, they pay a price far greater than they realize. The danger of ignoring the signs is not only in the technical risks, but in the emotional weight it creates. Psychology shows us that uncertainty is one of the greatest sources of stress. Not knowing is often more painful than knowing, because the mind fills the void with fear. The imagination becomes a stage for worst-case scenarios, and even if you cannot see the evidence, your body feels the tension. Sleepless nights, sudden irritability, constant distraction. These are often the symptoms of unacknowledged insecurity. Many people walk around carrying this invisible stress without realizing where it comes from. They feel watched, but they cannot explain why. They feel unsafe, but they dismiss the thought as paranoia. They fight with their partners over trust, unaware that the real intruder is not in the relationship, but in the phone that holds it together. This is the hidden cost of ignoring the possibility of hacking. It is not just data that gets stolen. It is peace. It is trust. It is freedom. Every relationship is built on the delicate balance of vulnerability and safety. You open your heart because you believe your words are safe with the other person. You share your truth because you trust the container it is held in. But when a third party silently invades that container, even without your knowledge, the safety that allows love to grow begins to collapse. And sometimes, the collapse shows up not as a clear break, but as quiet distance, as arguments that make no sense, as an erosion of confidence that spreads silently like smoke. The saddest part is that all of this often happens while the solution was within reach. Two simple codes that could have revealed the truth. Two quick checks that could have protected so much more than a device. They could have protected the very fabric of connection. This is why neglect becomes so dangerous. What seems like a small decision not to check is in reality a decision to live in the dark. And living in the dark is where fear thrives. But here is the empowering truth. It does not have to be that way. You are not powerless against the unknown. The very act of checking, of facing the reality head-on, is how you break the cycle of anxiety. The moment you choose clarity over avoidance, your nervous system relaxes, your relationships benefit from your calmness, your partner feels your grounded presence, your friends feel your confidence, you feel yourself again. This is why action matters more than hope. Hope without action is fragile. It breaks the moment doubt appears. But action creates evidence. It gives your mind proof that you are not helpless, proof that you can see what is happening, proof that you can protect yourself and the people you love. And once you have that proof, fear loses its power over you. Think of this as a reflection of how you want to live your life. Do you want to live as someone who waits until the damage is already done? Or as someone who steps forward, checks, and prevents harm before it takes root? Every time you act, you strengthen your sense of self-worth. You remind yourself that your safety matters, your trust matters, your peace matters. And when you live with that conviction, you don't just protect your phone, you protect your heart, your relationships, and your future.